What is stereotype threat? As you know, social psychologists are interested in the individual's experience of their social environment. One of the negative effects of stereotyping is called stereotype threat. This occurs when a negative stereotype about one or more of our social groups threatens our performance in a relevant domain. For example, when older people are asked to take a memory test or a driving test. Their performance on these tests may be threatened because they're associated with poor memory and poor driving skills. Stereotype threat probably wouldn't occur if they were asked to share their words of wisdom with the next generation, because the stereotype is that older people are wise. Interestingly, we can be affected by this phenomenon even if we do not believe the stereotype. Let's look at another example before we look more closely at what the experience is like for the individual. In one study, Spencer and colleagues administered a difficult math test to college students. In the experimental condition, they told the participants that they usually find gender differences in the test scores, that men tend to do better than women. In the control condition, they told the participants that they do not usually find gender differences. The results showed strong support for stereotype threat. When made aware of the stereotype that women tend to do worse on this kind of test, women did, in fact, perform much worse than men. No such differences were found in the control condition, suggesting it was something about the manipulation of stereotype threat that created the differences in the experimental condition. So what happens when a person experiences stereotype threat? Why does their performance suffer, even when they don't believe the stereotype? Symptoms include intrusive negative thoughts, increased physiological arousal, increased stress, loss of cognitive resources, and loss of focus. The more a person tries to suppress the negative thoughts, the more intrusive they become. Eventually, they tire, and they don't have the resources to perform as well as they normally would. Social psychologists have identified two reactions to this process. One is obvious. It impairs performance on the task. And two is that it can lead to disengagement. Some people just give up on the task and downplay its importance. So, researchers think it works by impairing our memory and decreasing our motivation. Now that you're more familiar with the basic definitions, you'll take a look at the measurement of stereotypes in the next section.